Module 1: The Role of Integrity in Entrepreneurship. Integrity is one of the most vital qualities that can define an entrepreneur's success, yet it is often overlooked in favor of short term gains or quick wins. However, in the long run, businesses that operate with integrity not only build a strong, trustworthy reputation, but also create sustainable, enduring success. In this module, we will explore what integrity means in the context of entrepreneurship, why it matters for business leadership, and how it contributes to long term growth and sustainability. We will also look at Patagonia, a real world example of a company that has embraced integrity as a core part of its mission. Definition and importance of integrity in business. Integrity, at its core, means being honest, ethical, and consistent in your actions, even when no one is watching. In business, integrity encompasses many aspects, from transparent communication and fair dealings with customers and employees to ensuring that business practices align with ethical and moral standards. What integrity looks like in business: it manifests through honesty in financial reporting, treating employees fairly, respecting contracts and agreements, honoring commitments, and maintaining transparency with all stakeholders. Entrepreneurs with integrity also hold themselves accountable for their actions, owning up to mistakes and working to correct them. Why integrity matters. While skills, innovation, and ambition are important in entrepreneurship, integrity sets the foundation for long-term trust. Trust is a critical factor in building customer loyalty, attracting partners, and maintaining investor confidence. Without integrity, even the most successful business can collapse under the weight of scandals, mistrust, or legal troubles. For example, in countries where consumers value corporate transparency and ethical behavior, a business with a reputation for integrity can stand out from competitors. Customers increasingly look for brands that align with their own values, making integrity not only a moral choice, but also a strategic advantage. How integrity influences entrepreneurship and leadership. Integrity impacts every facet of entrepreneurship, from decision-making to leadership styles. Entrepreneurs who lead with integrity inspire their teams, attract like-minded partners, and create a positive work culture that emphasizes trust and collaboration. Decision-making. When faced with difficult decisions, entrepreneurs with integrity prioritize ethical considerations over short-term profits. This long-term view often leads to better outcomes, as decisions rooted in integrity help avoid legal issues, reputational damage, or internal conflict. For instance, an entrepreneur might choose to ethically source raw materials, even if it costs more, because it aligns with the company's values and builds customer trust. Leadership. Leadership driven by integrity creates a culture where transparency, fairness, and honesty are the norms. Employees feel more secure working in an environment where leadership is consistent, where their contributions are valued, and where ethical standards are upheld. Such leadership builds loyalty, improves morale, and encourages employees to act with integrity themselves. Building relationships. Integrity is essential for building and maintaining relationships, whether with customers, employees, partners, or investors. Entrepreneurs who value integrity create open and honest communication channels, ensuring that expectations are clear and commitments are honored. In return, they gain trust and long-term loyalty from their stakeholders. For entrepreneurs where trust and reliability are fundamental values, leading with integrity is especially important. Businesses that maintain ethical standards and prioritize customer trust often achieve a competitive advantage in these markets. The long-term impact of integrity on business sustainability. Integrity plays a crucial role in the long-term sustainability of a business. Companies that consistently uphold ethical practices build resilience and enjoy a competitive edge even in challenging times. Reputation and trust. A solid reputation built on integrity becomes one of the most valuable assets for any business. Customers, partners, and investors will gravitate towards businesses they can trust. This trust leads to brand loyalty, which is especially important in today's markets where consumers are increasingly making values-based purchasing decisions. For example, companies are often scrutinized for their environmental and social practices. A business that operates with integrity, demonstrating a clear commitment to sustainability, will likely outperform competitors over time. Attracting like-minded partners. Integrity attracts not only loyal customers, but also like minded partners and investors. Businesses that have a clear ethical stance often find it easier to form partnerships with other organizations that value transparency and ethical practices. These partnerships tend to be more durable because they are built on shared values. Longevity and crisis management. Businesses with a foundation of integrity are more likely to weather crises and challenges effectively. When issues such as financial downturns, product recalls, or negative media coverage arise, companies that have a history of operating ethically can rely on the trust they've built with their stakeholders to recover more easily. Stakeholders are more willing to forgive honest mistakes when they believe the company genuinely operates with integrity. Where regulatory standards and public expectations are high, companies with a proven record of integrity are more resilient and better able to comply with both legal and social expectations. This adaptability and ethical resilience are key factors in ensuring a business can thrive over the long term. Real example: Patagonia's commitment to environmental sustainability. One of the best examples of integrity in business is Patagonia, a company renowned for its commitment to environmental sustainability. Founded by Yvon Chouinard, Patagonia's mission revolves around producing high-quality outdoor clothing and gear with minimal impact on the environment. This integrity-driven approach to business has earned the company tremendous respect and loyalty from its customers worldwide. 1. Commitment to environmental integrity. From the beginning, Patagonia has placed environmental conservation at the heart of its business model. The company uses recycled materials in its products, invests in renewable energy, and takes active steps to minimize its carbon footprint. Patagonia also encourages customers to repair rather than replace their gear, reducing waste and promoting sustainable consumer behavior. In addition to its environmentally conscious business practices, Patagonia is also vocal about environmental activism. The company donates 1% of its annual sales to environmental causes and has consistently supported grassroots movements dedicated to preserving natural spaces. Number 2, how integrity drives business success. Patagonia's commitment to environmental integrity has not only enhanced its brand reputation, but also created a deep connection with its customers. In an era where consumers are increasingly conscious of the environmental impact of their purchases, Patagonia has positioned itself as a trusted leader in sustainable business. This integrity-driven mission has translated into financial success as well. Patagonia enjoys a loyal customer base willing to pay premium prices for products they know are ethically made. In countries like the USA and Sweden, where sustainability is a priority for many consumers, Patagonia has built a powerful brand synonymous with ethical business practices. Moreover, Patagonia's transparency regarding its supply chain, labor practices, and environmental impact further solidifies its reputation as a company driven by integrity. The brand's open communication about its challenges and successes in sustainability fosters trust and loyalty among its customers. Conclusion: integrity as the foundation of entrepreneurial success. Integrity is not just a nice-to-have in entrepreneurship, it is a cornerstone of sustainable success. Entrepreneurs who prioritize integrity in their decision-making, leadership, and business practices lay the groundwork for lasting growth, trust, and loyalty. In countries where ethical standards and transparency are highly valued, integrity offers a powerful competitive advantage. By learning from examples like Patagonia, entrepreneurs can see that operating with integrity is not only morally right, but also strategically smart. Integrity builds trust, fosters loyalty, and helps businesses navigate challenges more effectively. Entrepreneurs who embrace Module 2, ethical decision-making. Ethical decision-making is the backbone of a successful and sustainable business, especially in entrepreneurship, where decisions often involve balancing profit, growth, and values. In this module, we will explore the frameworks entrepreneurs can use to make ethical choices, the challenges of balancing profit and ethics, and how to navigate ethical dilemmas in everyday business scenarios. We will also look at a real-world example of Johnson Johnson's handling of the Tylenol crisis, which remains one of the most important case studies in corporate ethics. Frameworks for making ethical decisions in business. Ethical decision making in entrepreneurship involves carefully considering the impact of your choices on customers, employees, investors, and society. While it may be tempting to prioritize short term profits, decisions grounded in ethics ensure long term trust and sustainability. Various frameworks can help guide entrepreneurs through ethical decision making processes. The utilitarian approach. This approach emphasizes choosing the option that produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Entrepreneurs using this method weigh the positive and negative outcomes of their decisions on all stakeholders and choose the action that maximizes overall benefits. For example, a startup may choose to reduce the environmental impact of its packaging, even if it increases costs, because the benefit to the community and the planet outweighs the short term financial burden. The rights approach. Here, the focus is on protecting the rights and dignity of individuals involved in or affected by the decision. Entrepreneurs are encouraged to respect the fundamental rights of their employees, customers, and partners. This could mean refusing to exploit cheap labor in developing countries or ensuring product safety, even when it reduces profitability. The justice approach. This framework advocates for fairness and equity in business decisions. It ensures that decisions do not unfairly disadvantage any stakeholder. For instance, an entrepreneur might decide to offer equitable wages and benefits to all employees, regardless of their position or background. The common good approach. This method involves making decisions that contribute to the well-being of the entire community. Entrepreneurs who adopt this approach ensure their business practices benefit society as a whole. For example, businesses that prioritize sustainability and support local communities follow the common good approach. The virtue approach. This approach encourages decision-making based on virtues like honesty, compassion, and integrity. Entrepreneurs using this method ask themselves whether their actions align with their values and principles, aiming to foster moral character through their decisions. These frameworks are particularly relevant in regions where regulatory standards are high and companies are expected to make ethical choices that benefit society as well as shareholders. Balancing profit and ethics in entrepreneurial ventures. One of the most challenging aspects of entrepreneurship is balancing the pursuit of profit with a commitment to ethics. Many entrepreneurs face situations where maximizing profit may come at the expense of ethical considerations. However, businesses that prioritize ethical decisions often find that integrity can be a competitive advantage. Short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. In many cases, acting ethically may involve making short-term sacrifices, such as turning down a lucrative deal or investing in sustainable but expensive materials. While these decisions may hurt profits initially, they build long-term trust, brand loyalty, and customer retention. This is particularly important in regions like Australia, Sweden, and Norway, where consumers are increasingly concerned about the ethical practices of the brands they support. Corporate social responsibility, CSR. Many entrepreneurs find that integrating ethical considerations into their business model through CSR initiatives can boost profitability and social impact. Companies that focus on giving back to the community, protecting the environment, and ensuring fair treatment of employees tend to attract more customers and investors. Ethical entrepreneurship is about creating value not just for shareholders, but for all stakeholders. Reputation and ethics. A strong ethical foundation builds a company's reputation over time. In industries where competition is fierce, a good reputation can be the deciding factor for consumers or partners when choosing between businesses. While unethical practices may offer immediate gains, they can severely damage a company's long-term prospects if exposed. Entrepreneurs in environments where regulatory scrutiny and consumer advocacy are high, making ethical decision-making a priority for business sustainability. Navigating ethical dilemmas and conflicts of interest. Entrepreneurs often find themselves in situations where they face ethical dilemmas, decisions where there is no clear right or wrong answer. In these scenarios, the challenge is to navigate the complexities of the situation while maintaining ethical integrity. Identifying ethical dilemmas. The first step is recognizing when an ethical dilemma exists. These can arise in many areas of business, such as conflicts of interest, labor practices, environmental sustainability, or product safety. Entrepreneurs must be vigilant and proactive in identifying ethical challenges before they escalate. Conflicts of interest. A common ethical challenge is navigating conflicts of interest, where personal or financial interests may clash with the interests of the business or its stakeholders. For example, an entrepreneur may have the opportunity to enter a partnership that benefits them personally, but could harm the company or its employees. Transparency and accountability are key in handling such situations. Disclosing potential conflicts and involving neutral third parties can help ensure ethical decision making. Handling ethical dilemmas. Entrepreneurs need a process for evaluating their options when faced with an ethical dilemma. A step by step approach may include assessing the situation, gather all the relevant information, and identify the stakeholders who will be affected. Considering ethical principles, apply ethical frameworks, such as the rights or justice approach, to evaluate the options. Weighing the consequences. Consider the long term impact of each option, not just on profitability, but on reputation and stakeholder trust. Making the decision. Choose the option that aligns with both the company's values and the greater good. Reviewing the outcome. After making a decision, review the results to ensure that the ethical standards were upheld and learn from the experience for future dilemmas. In countries where ethical standards in business are high, navigating these dilemmas with transparency and accountability is crucial for maintaining a positive reputation and strong business relationships. Real example: the Johnson Johnson Tylenol crisis. One of the most famous examples of ethical decision-making in business is how Johnson Johnson handled the Tylenol crisis in 1982. This case highlights the company's commitment to integrity and the ethical framework that guided its decisions, despite the significant financial cost involved. The crisis. In the fall of 1982, several people in the Chicago area died after consuming Tylenol capsules that had been laced with cyanide. This tampering incident quickly became a national emergency, as Tylenol was one of the most popular pain relievers in the United States. Johnson & Johnson's response. Rather than prioritizing its financial losses, Johnson & Johnson made the ethical decision to prioritize customer safety and trust. The company immediately recalled 31 million bottles of Tylenol, costing them over $100 million. They also halted production and advertising, despite the enormous potential revenue loss. Transparency and ethical leadership. Johnson & Johnson was transparent about the issue with the public and worked closely with law enforcement to identify the source of the tampering. The company communicated openly with consumers, explaining the steps it was taking to ensure safety, which included introducing tamper-resistant packaging, a move that set a new industry standard. The result: although the recall cost Johnson & Johnson a significant amount of money in the short term, their ethical actions ultimately strengthened their brand and customer loyalty. By acting with integrity and prioritizing public safety, Johnson & Johnson not only survived the crisis, but also restored consumer trust, setting a benchmark for corporate ethics in crisis management. This case is a powerful example for entrepreneurs globally, from Australia to Switzerland, demonstrating that making the ethical choice, even at a financial loss, can preserve a company's reputation and lead to long-term success. Conclusion: ethics as a business imperative. In entrepreneurship, ethics and integrity are not just abstract ideals. They are practical necessities for long-term success. Entrepreneurs who integrate ethical decision-making into their business models can create organizations that are resilient, trustworthy, and admired. Whether navigating ethical dilemmas or balancing profit with ethical considerations, the choices entrepreneurs make can define their brand and influence their business's trajectory. Ethical business practices are increasingly important as consumers demand transparency and responsibility from the companies they support. By using ethical frameworks, entrepreneurs can make informed decisions that balance profitability with integrity, ensuring that their businesses are built on a foundation of trust and sustainability. As seen in the Johnson & Johnson Tylenol crisis, ethical decision-making can turn even the most challenging situation. Module 3. Transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability are essential pillars in building a successful and trustworthy business. In today's entrepreneurial environment, stakeholders, whether they be customers, employees, investors, or partners, demand openness, integrity, and responsibility from companies. This module will explore how transparency builds trust, the importance of creating a culture of accountability, and practical strategies for communicating transparently with stakeholders. We'll also examine Buffer's radical approach to transparency, where they publicly share salary and revenue data as part of their business strategy. The role of transparency in building trust with stakeholders. Transparency is the practice of being open and honest in the way a business operates, communicates, and makes decisions. For entrepreneurs, transparency is crucial to building trust with stakeholders, including customers, employees, investors, and the community. Why transparency matters. Fosters trust. Trust is foundational to any business relationship. When companies are transparent, they show they have nothing to hide, making it easier for stakeholders to trust their intentions and decisions. Customers are more likely to support a company that is honest about its practices, products, and values. Similarly, investors appreciate transparency as it helps them understand the true financial health and strategic direction of the business. Enhances reputation. Businesses that are known for being transparent are seen as more credible and trustworthy. This can lead to enhanced brand reputation, which in turn attracts more customers, talent, and investors. In competitive markets like where consumer and investor expectations are high, transparency can become a unique selling proposition. Mitigates risks. Transparency can help prevent misunderstandings or crises by addressing issues before they become problems. When businesses openly communicate their challenges and decisions, stakeholders are more likely to be supportive, even in difficult times. For example, disclosing financial struggles early on can allow investors or partners to provide solutions, rather than losing their support when they feel blindsided by sudden bad news. Encourages ethical behavior. A transparent business environment helps ensure that ethical practices are being followed. When information flows freely, there is less room for unethical behavior or hidden actions that could damage the business. Creating a culture of accountability within your organization. Accountability means taking responsibility for your actions and ensuring that others do the same. For entrepreneurs, building a culture of accountability is essential for driving success and maintaining integrity within the organization. Steps to building accountability. Set clear expectations. Accountability begins with clear communication of goals, responsibilities, and values. Employees and partners need to understand what is expected of them and what they are accountable for. This includes setting measurable targets and defining roles to avoid confusion. In countries where organizational culture tends to emphasize fairness and equality, setting transparent expectations is essential for fostering a collaborative environment. Lead by example. Entrepreneurs and leaders must model the behavior they expect from their teams. Demonstrating accountability by owning up to mistakes and taking responsibility for decisions creates a culture where accountability is valued at every level. Employees will follow the example set by their leaders, making it essential for entrepreneurs to display transparency in their actions. Create feedback mechanisms. A feedback-driven culture allows employees and stakeholders to voice their concerns, challenges, and opinions openly. Regular performance reviews, one-on-one meetings, and open forums can foster an environment where accountability thrives. Feedback shouldn't only focus on areas for improvement, but should also celebrate accountability-driven successes. Reward accountability. Recognizing and rewarding employees who take ownership of their tasks and responsibilities reinforces the importance of accountability. This could be through public acknowledgement, bonuses, or professional growth opportunities. In regions where merit-based recognition is common, rewarding accountability can become a powerful motivator for employees. Provide resources and support. For accountability to work, employees need the resources, training, and support to meet their goals. Entrepreneurs should ensure their teams have the tools to succeed, and they must be open to addressing any challenges that may hinder progress. How to communicate transparently with customers, investors, and employees. Communicating transparently is one of the most powerful ways entrepreneurs can build relationships and trust with their stakeholders. However, it requires strategic, consistent, and honest communication across various channels and audiences. Best practices for transparent communication. Be honest and clear. Whether delivering good or bad news, honesty should always be at the forefront. Avoid withholding information, sugarcoating, or being vague about challenges. Stakeholders appreciate clarity even when the news isn't positive. For example, if a startup is experiencing cash flow problems, it's better to communicate the issue to investors and employees early rather than waiting for the problem to worsen. Share financial and operational data. Especially for investors, being transparent about the company's financial health and performance is essential. Entrepreneurs should share key metrics such as revenue, expenses, profits, and future projections in a clear and understandable manner. This not only builds confidence but also helps investors make informed decisions about their continued support. Address challenges head on. Transparency isn't just about sharing successes, it's about communicating struggles as well. Customers, employees, and investors appreciate businesses that openly address challenges, explain the steps they are taking to resolve them, and provide regular updates. This is particularly relevant in countries where open and honest communication is highly valued. Use multiple channels. Transparency should be consistent across all channels, whether it's face-to-face meetings, email updates, social media, or investor reports. Using multiple communication platforms ensures that your message reaches all stakeholders effectively. Encourage dialogue. Transparent communication is not one-sided. Entrepreneurs should encourage feedback and dialogue from stakeholders. This could be through regular surveys, Q&A sessions, or open-door policies, where employees or customers feel comfortable raising concerns or asking questions. Real example: Buffer's radical transparency model. One of the most well-known examples of transparency in business is Buffer, a social media management company that has taken transparency to the next level by publicly sharing information that most companies keep private. Buffer's transparency initiatives include publishing the salaries of all its employees, revealing the company's revenue numbers, and sharing detailed reports on the company's growth and challenges. Why Buffer's transparency matters. Building trust with employees. Buffer believes that transparency breeds trust and equality within the company. By publicly sharing employee salaries, Buffer ensures that there is no disparity or confusion about compensation, leading to a more equitable and trusting workplace. Employees can see that compensation is based on a clear formula that takes into account their role, location, and experience. Transparency with customers and the public. Buffer publishes its monthly revenue numbers and business growth data in an online dashboard available to anyone. This level of transparency helps build trust with customers, investors, and the broader public. People appreciate the company's openness, which makes them more likely to support and advocate for Buffer. Handling challenges transparently. When Buffer faced significant financial difficulties in 2016, the company openly shared the details with its customers and investors, explaining the causes of the problem and the steps they were taking to fix it. This honesty strengthened their reputation, even during a difficult time, and allowed them to receive support and guidance from their community. Buffer's approach to transparency may seem radical, but it has helped the company build a loyal customer base and a strong, trust-driven organizational culture. It is a powerful example of how transparency, when applied strategically, can enhance a company's reputation and performance. Conclusion: the power of transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability are no longer optional. They are essential for building a sustainable, successful business in today's entrepreneurial landscape. Whether you're communicating with customers, employees, or investors, openness fosters trust and strengthens relationships. Entrepreneurs who prioritize transparency are better equipped to navigate challenges, build a positive reputation, and create a culture where accountability is valued. Stakeholders are demanding more from the companies they engage with. By adopting transparency and accountability as core values, entrepreneurs can stand out in a crowded market, build lasting trust, and create businesses that thrive over the long term. Buffer's example shows that radical transparency can yield powerful results, and companies that take accountability seriously, both internally and externally, are more likely to succeed in the long run. Module 4: Building an integrity-based brand. In today's highly competitive global marketplace, a company's brand is far more than just a logo or a tagline. It's a reflection of the company's values, actions, and commitments. Building an integrity-based brand means ensuring that your business not only talks the talk, but walks the walk, aligning its actions with its ethical principles. In this module, we will explore how entrepreneurs can create and maintain a brand rooted in integrity, communicate ethical standards effectively, and understand the profound impact that integrity has on customer perception and brand loyalty. We will also look at how Tom's Shoes has used its commitment to social responsibility to build a brand synonymous with integrity, creating and maintaining a brand that reflects integrity. Integrity in business is about being consistent with your values and delivering on the promises you make. When integrity is at the core of your brand, it becomes a foundation upon which trust and loyalty are built. Brands that are perceived as honest and principled tend to have a more loyal customer base, attract high-quality talent, and sustain long-term business success. Key steps to building an integrity-based brand. Define your brand's core values. The first step in creating an integrity-driven brand is to clearly define your company's values. What does your brand stand for? What principles guide your decision-making? These values should resonate with your target audience and should be authentic to your mission. In countries where precision, quality, and ethical practices are highly valued, a brand that consistently demonstrates its commitment to integrity will stand out. Example: if your brand is committed to sustainability, this should be embedded in every part of your operations, from product sourcing to packaging. Lead with purpose. Entrepreneurs who build brands with integrity start by ensuring that their business exists for a higher purpose beyond just profit. This purpose should be the foundation for all business strategies, including marketing, product development, and customer interactions. There is a growing emphasis on social responsibility, with consumers increasingly favoring brands that are environmentally conscious or socially responsible. Example: many startups and established companies focus on environmental responsibility. Brands like Who Gives a Crap, which sells eco-friendly toilet paper and donates 50% of its profits to sanitation projects, lead with purpose in their business model. Ensure consistency between values and actions. Building a brand with integrity requires consistency. It's not enough to simply state your values in a mission statement. They must be evident in every action your company takes. Consumers are quick to spot inauthentic brands, and failing to live up to your stated values can lead to a loss of trust. Example: if your brand promotes ethical labor practices, you must ensure that your entire supply chain aligns with these practices. This level of transparency and consistency is highly valued by consumers. Incorporate integrity into daily operations. Every decision your company makes, from hiring practices to customer service, should reflect your brand's integrity. Companies that prioritize honesty, responsibility, and ethical behavior in their daily operations foster a culture that sustains long-term trust and credibility. Example: where there is a strong emphasis on reliability and trust in business, entrepreneurs who practice ethical behavior in their everyday dealings are more likely to build long-lasting relationships with customers, partners, and employees. Communicating your company's ethical standards and values. Communicating your brand's commitment to integrity is as important as living by it. In an era of social media and instant information, customers expect transparency and authenticity from the companies they support. Effective communication about your company's ethical standards helps reinforce trust and builds a stronger connection with your audience. How to communicate integrity to stakeholders. Be transparent about your business practices. Transparency in business involves being open about how your company operates, from sourcing materials to employee relations. Providing customers with insight into your processes and practices helps build credibility and trust. Brands that are open about their challenges as well as their successes are seen as more authentic and trustworthy. Example: in the USA, Patagonia openly shares details about the environmental and social impact of its products. The company even encourages customers to repair their clothes rather than buy new ones, showcasing their commitment to sustainability and transparency. Use storytelling to reinforce your values. Storytelling is a powerful tool for communicating your brand's commitment to integrity. Share stories about how your company lives out its values through specific actions or initiatives. Whether it's a behind the scenes look at ethical sourcing or a spotlight on community engagement efforts, storytelling makes your brand's values relatable and real. Example: Ben & Jerry's, based in the UK and the USA, uses storytelling to communicate its social activism on issues like climate change and racial justice. These stories help customers connect emotionally with the brand, reinforcing its integrity and commitment to social change. Engage with your audience. Brands that listen to and engage with their audience create a two-way communication channel that fosters trust. When customers see that a brand is responsive and cares about their opinions, they are more likely to feel connected to that brand. Entrepreneurs can use social media, surveys, and community forums to engage in meaningful conversations with customers and stakeholders. Example: in Australia, brands like Thank You engage directly with their customers through social media, sharing updates on how customer purchases are contributing to global causes. This transparency and engagement have helped Thank You build a community of loyal customers who trust and support the brand's mission. How integrity impacts customer perception and brand loyalty. Customers today are more informed and empowered than ever. They research brands, read reviews, and seek out companies that align with their values. When a company consistently demonstrates integrity, it has a direct impact on customer perception, driving loyalty and advocacy. Why integrity drives brand loyalty. Builds long-term trust. Trust is the cornerstone of any lasting relationship, and it's no different in business. Customers are more likely to remain loyal to a brand they trust, and integrity is key to building that trust. In regions like Scandinavia and Switzerland, where honesty and fairness are deeply embedded in the cultural fabric, consumers favor brands that demonstrate consistent ethical behavior. Example: John Lewis Partnership in the UK is renowned for its ethical business practices, including a unique employee-owned model. This commitment to fairness and transparency has helped the brand maintain a loyal customer base for decades. Encourages advocacy and word of mouth. Customers who believe in a brand's integrity are more likely to become advocates, sharing positive experiences with others and promoting the brand through word of mouth. Where community engagement and corporate responsibility are important factors for consumers, integrity-based brands often benefit from organic customer referrals and advocacy. Reduces customer churn. Integrity also plays a role in reducing customer churn. When customers feel that a brand is honest and reliable, they are less likely to switch to competitors, even when issues arise. By addressing problems openly and working to resolve them in an ethical manner, brands can turn potentially negative experiences into opportunities for strengthening customer relationships. Real example: Tom's Shoes integrity-driven brand. One of the most well-known examples of an integrity-based brand is Tom's Shoes, a company that has made social responsibility a core part of its business model. Tom's introduced the one-for-one giving model, where for every pair of shoes sold, the company donates a pair to a child in need. This mission-driven approach has not only garnered widespread attention, but also reinforced Tom's commitment to integrity and social impact. How Tom's built an integrity-driven brand. Mission alignment. From day one, Tom's has been clear about its mission to make a positive impact in the world. The company's giving model is an integral part of its brand identity, and it ensures that every purchase contributes to a greater good. This commitment has resonated with customers who value social responsibility and want to support brands that align with their own ethical values. Transparency and impact. Tom's is transparent about the impact it's making, regularly sharing updates on the number of shoes donated and the communities it has helped. This level of transparency builds trust and demonstrates that the company is living up to its promises. Customer engagement. By allowing customers to play an active role in social good through their purchases, Tom's has created a community of socially conscious consumers. This engagement has strengthened brand loyalty, as customers feel they are part of a larger movement with every purchase. Global recognition. Tom's integrity-driven brand has earned global recognition, with customers from the USA to Germany appreciating the company's commitment to social responsibility. The brand's consistent alignment with its values has not only helped it stand out in a crowded market, but also cemented its reputation as a leader in corporate social responsibility. Conclusion: integrity as a competitive advantage. Building an integrity based brand is not just about doing the right thing, it's also a powerful business strategy. In a world where consumers are increasingly choosing brands that align with their values, integrity becomes a competitive advantage. Brands that are honest, transparent, and consistent in their actions are more likely to foster trust, build long term customer relationships, and drive brand loyalty. As seen in the example of Tom's Shoes, companies that integrate integrity into their core business model are able to create a lasting positive impact on both their customers and the world. Module 5: Legal Compliance and Ethical Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship thrives on innovation, creativity, and risk taking, but these qualities must be balanced with a commitment to legal compliance and ethical practices. As businesses grow and expand, the importance of adhering to laws, regulations, and ethical standards becomes paramount. In this module, we will explore the critical role of legal compliance in ensuring long-term success, common pitfalls to avoid, and how entrepreneurs can balance innovation with regulatory obligations. Additionally, we'll dive into how Facebook faced regulatory and ethical challenges due to data privacy violations and the subsequent impact on its brand and reputation. Understanding the importance of legal compliance in business operations. Legal compliance is the backbone of ethical entrepreneurship. It involves ensuring that your business operations adhere to all relevant laws and regulations in your industry and region. Entrepreneurs must navigate a complex landscape of legal requirements, including employment laws, tax regulations, consumer protection rules, intellectual property rights, and more. Failing to comply can result in financial penalties, legal disputes, and severe damage to a company's reputation. Key reasons why legal compliance is crucial: protecting your business. Adhering to legal standards safeguards your business from lawsuits, fines, and penalties. For example, complying with data protection laws like GDPR in Europe ensures that customer information is handled responsibly and reduces the risk of breaches. Building trust. Consumers, investors, and partners want to work with businesses they can trust. When a company is transparent about its legal obligations and consistently complies with regulations, it builds credibility and fosters trust. This is especially true where strong consumer protection laws are in place and trustworthiness is highly valued in business relationships. Ensuring long-term growth. A company that consistently adheres to legal standards is positioned for long-term success. In the USA, for example, businesses that comply with environmental regulations can avoid legal issues and create a sustainable path to growth. This is essential for industries where regulatory environments evolve rapidly, such as technology or pharmaceuticals. Common legal and ethical pitfalls entrepreneurs should avoid. Entrepreneurs are often focused on growth and innovation, which can sometimes lead them to overlook legal and ethical considerations. However, ignorance of the law is not a defense, and missteps can have serious consequences. Let's explore some of the most common legal and ethical pitfalls that entrepreneurs should actively avoid. Failing to register your business properly. Many entrepreneurs, especially in the early stages, operate informally without properly registering their business. In regions like Canada and the UK, failing to establish the correct business structure, e.g., sole proprietorship, LLC, or corporation, can lead to legal complications down the line, including tax issues and personal liability. Neglecting employment laws. Startups often grow quickly, and in the rush to hire talent, entrepreneurs might neglect critical employment laws. In Sweden and Norway, strict labor laws protect employees' rights, including minimum wage requirements, workplace safety, and anti-discrimination policies. Violating these laws can result in significant legal repercussions. Ignoring intellectual property, IP, protections. Many businesses neglect to protect their intellectual property, leaving them vulnerable to copycats. In countries like Germany and Switzerland, where innovation is highly valued, it's essential to secure patents, trademarks, and copyrights to protect your unique products and ideas. Violating consumer privacy rights. In today's digital world, data privacy is a major concern. Entrepreneurs need to ensure that they are collecting, storing, and using customer data responsibly. For example, violating GDPR in Europe or CCPA in California can result in steep fines and loss of customer trust. Ethical misconduct in financial reporting. Entrepreneurs may sometimes misrepresent financial information in order to attract investors or secure loans. However, misleading financial reporting is both illegal and unethical. Such practices can lead to severe penalties, including jail time for executives and the collapse of the business. Balancing innovation with regulatory compliance. Innovation is the lifeblood of entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurs must understand that being innovative doesn't mean disregarding regulations. Finding a balance between pushing boundaries and staying within the legal framework is essential for sustainable growth. How entrepreneurs can balance innovation and compliance. Stay informed about industry specific regulations. Entrepreneurs need to be proactive in understanding the regulations that govern their industry. For example, in the tech sector, regulations around data security, intellectual property, and product liability are constantly evolving. Staying informed can help you innovate without overstepping legal boundaries. Example: in Switzerland, fintech startups must navigate complex financial regulations while still innovating in areas like cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. By staying ahead of regulatory changes, these startups can innovate safely. Incorporate compliance into your business model. Rather than viewing legal compliance as a burden, entrepreneurs should integrate it into their business model. This can be a competitive advantage. For instance, companies that prioritize data privacy, like Apple, are able to distinguish themselves from competitors by promoting security as a key feature. Work with legal experts. Engaging legal counsel who specializes in your industry is a smart way to ensure your business remains compliant while pursuing innovation. In the USA and Australia, startups often work closely with legal advisors to navigate complex regulatory environments, especially in high-risk sectors like healthcare, finance, and pharmaceuticals. Real example: how Facebook faced regulatory and ethical challenges. One of the most prominent examples of a company struggling with legal and ethical compliance is Facebook. The company faced significant regulatory challenges after a series of data privacy violations came to light, particularly regarding the Cambridge Analytica scandal. This event highlighted the ethical responsibility that tech companies have in handling user data, as well as the potential legal ramifications when they fail to do so. The Facebook Cambridge Analytica scandal. The issue. In 2018, it was revealed that data from over 87 million Facebook users had been harvested by Cambridge Analytica, a political consulting firm, without their consent. This data was used to influence political campaigns, including the 2016 US presidential election and the Brexit vote in the UK. Legal and ethical fallout. Facebook faced intense scrutiny from regulators in the USA, the UK, and Europe for failing to protect user data. The company was fined billions of dollars for violating data privacy laws, including a $5 billion settlement with the Federal Trade Commission (FTC) in the USA. Reputation damage. Beyond the legal consequences, Facebook's reputation took a massive hit. The scandal raised ethical concerns about how the company was using its platform to manipulate public opinion and failing to be transparent with its users. Long-term impact. In the aftermath, Facebook implemented stricter privacy policies and committed to more transparent data handling practices. However, the company continues to face criticism for its approach to data privacy, underscoring the long-term reputational impact of failing to prioritize legal and ethical standards. Conclusion: ethical entrepreneurship as a pillar of sustainable success. Entrepreneurs are not just responsible for driving innovation and growth, they are also stewards of ethical and legal standards within their industries. As the example of Facebook illustrates, neglecting legal compliance and ethical considerations can have far-reaching consequences, from hefty fines to a loss of customer trust. To build a sustainable and reputable business, entrepreneurs must prioritize legal compliance, embrace transparency, and ensure that their innovations do not come at the expense of ethics. By doing so, they not only protect their business, but also create an environment where trust, loyalty, and long-term success can flourish. Entrepreneurs can find a competitive edge by combining innovation with a steadfast commitment to legal and ethical integrity. Module 6: Integrity and Crisis Management. In the life of any business, crises are inevitable. Whether it's a product recall, a financial downturn, a data breach, or a public relations disaster, how a company responds to a crisis can determine its long-term viability. A key differentiator between businesses that recover and those that fail is integrity, how transparent, ethical, and responsible they are during tough times. This module explores how integrity plays a pivotal role in crisis management, providing entrepreneurs with the tools and strategies to navigate crises while upholding their values. We'll also examine real-life examples, such as Volkswagen's emission scandal, which demonstrated the profound impact that a lack of integrity can have on a brand. Maintaining integrity during a business crisis. In a crisis, the pressure on leaders can be immense, and it's tempting to take shortcuts or cover up mistakes. However, maintaining integrity during these critical moments is essential. Ethical decision-making, transparency, and accountability are the pillars of crisis management that ensure the business can recover and retain the trust of stakeholders. Why integrity matters during a crisis. Trust is the foundation of recovery. Trust is hard to build and easy to lose, especially during a crisis. Maintaining integrity through open, honest communication helps preserve trust with customers, employees, and investors, who are more likely to stay loyal if they feel the company is being forthright. Reputation is at stake. Crises often shine a spotlight on businesses, and any attempt to hide the truth or avoid responsibility can backfire, resulting in long-term damage to the brand. In countries like the USA, Australia, and Canada, where consumer protection and media scrutiny are robust, businesses are expected to act transparently, setting an example for the team. Entrepreneurs are role models within their organizations. Handling a crisis with integrity sets the tone for the company culture and how employees should behave under pressure. In regions like Sweden and Norway, known for strong ethical business practices, leaders who act with integrity inspire teams to remain committed even in challenging times. Steps to maintaining integrity in a crisis. Own the mistake. Acknowledge the problem immediately. Delaying or denying responsibility can make things worse. When Johnson Johnson faced the Tylenol crisis in 1982, they immediately recalled the product, prioritizing customer safety over profits, which helped them recover stronger. Be transparent. Explain the situation clearly, what caused it, and what steps are being taken to fix it. Avoid misleading statements, as these will only damage credibility later. Keep stakeholders informed. Regularly update all stakeholders, customers, employees, investors, on the crisis. Be proactive in sharing developments to prevent misinformation from spreading. Stay true to your values. Even under pressure, entrepreneurs should ensure that their actions align with the core values and mission of the business. Prioritizing long-term reputation over short-term gains is key. Ethical crisis communication and recovery strategies. Crisis communication is a vital part of managing any business emergency. How a company communicates during a crisis can either salvage its reputation or contribute to its downfall. Ethical crisis communication involves honesty, transparency, and empathy. It focuses on addressing the concerns of those affected while showing that the company is taking responsibility. Key elements of ethical crisis communication: honesty and transparency. During a crisis, hiding the truth or manipulating facts is often the worst course of action. Customers, the public, and regulators expect straightforward communication. Where corporate governance standards are exceptionally high, businesses that fail to be transparent can face severe public backlash. Empathy and compassion. Demonstrating empathy for those affected by the crisis, whether it's customers, employees, or the community, is essential. Businesses that fail to acknowledge the human impact of a crisis risk appearing cold and detached. Timeliness. Swift communication is vital to controlling the narrative. If a business waits too long to address a crisis, misinformation can fill the gap. In today's fast-moving media environment, staying ahead of the story is critical. Taking action. Words alone are not enough. Ethical crisis communication is supported by tangible actions that demonstrate the business's commitment to resolving the issue and preventing future occurrences. Steps to develop an ethical crisis communication plan. Anticipate potential crises. Every business should have a crisis communication plan in place. Anticipating potential problems and creating a clear response strategy can save time when an actual crisis occurs. Designate a crisis response team. A dedicated team, including senior leadership, communications experts, and legal advisors, should be responsible for managing crisis communication. Prepare messaging templates. Having pre-approved messaging templates for various crisis scenarios ensures that the business can respond quickly while maintaining consistency in its communication. Monitor public response. Use social media and other channels to track how stakeholders are responding to your communication and adjust your strategy if necessary. Real-life example: Volkswagen's emission scandal. A significant example of a business mishandling a crisis is Volkswagen's emission scandal, often referred to as Dieselgate. The scandal, which erupted in 2015, provides a case study on how the lack of integrity during a crisis can devastate a company's global reputation. The Volkswagen emission scandal. What happened? Volkswagen was found to have deliberately installed software in their diesel vehicles that falsified emissions data during testing, making the cars appear far more environmentally friendly than they were. This deception, which affected millions of vehicles worldwide, sparked outrage among consumers, regulators, and environmental groups. The crisis unfolds. When the scandal broke, Volkswagen initially tried to downplay the issue. However, as more information came to light, the company's lack of transparency became apparent. This not only angered regulators in Germany, the USA, and other markets, but also led to a massive erosion of consumer trust. The consequences: Volkswagen faced billions of dollars in fines, legal actions, and recalls. More importantly, the company's reputation took a significant hit. Consumers who had trusted Volkswagen's commitment to sustainability felt betrayed, and it took years for the company to begin rebuilding its image. Lessons learned. Volkswagen's initial response, a combination of denial, deflection, and delay, demonstrated how crucial integrity is in crisis management. Had the company admitted to the wrongdoing early and taken immediate corrective action, the fallout may have been less severe. This case underscores the importance of transparency and accountability, especially when dealing with ethical issues. Conclusion: integrity as the pillar of crisis management. In the face of a business crisis, an entrepreneur's most valuable asset is their integrity. As demonstrated by the Volkswagen case, failing to act with honesty and responsibility can have catastrophic consequences for a company's reputation and long-term viability. On the other hand, businesses that prioritize transparency, ethical communication, and swift corrective action are more likely to weather crises successfully. Integrity isn't just about maintaining compliance during good times, it's about how you respond when things go wrong. Entrepreneurs operating in regions with high ethical standards need to be particularly mindful of how their crisis management strategies align with their broader ethical commitments. The way you handle a crisis will leave a lasting impression on your customers, investors, and employees, influencing your brand's reputation for years to come. Ultimately, building an integrity-based crisis management strategy not only helps your business survive difficult times, but also strengthens its foundation for future growth.